This is where madmen, missionaries, relief workers, journalists, and backpackers and Westerners come to behave badly. Going to buy some crunchy, tasty breakfast, maybe a little fruit, and then go discharge some heavy weaponry. First, a haircut.
Cambodia. It was my first shoot in Asia, and I was doing this trip in particular for all the wrong reasons.
Basically, this place was described as sort of the last place in the world that any sensible tourist would want to go. So naturally, we're going there.
Looking back at that grainy video, I see someone glib, green, and generally clueless. A guy who had a lot to learn.
When I first heard that, first of all, I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. But then, I was reading, the Twitter handles, where the news was coming from, and I was like, oh wow, this is real. This is really happening. This really happened. And then I read the story. And he hung himself. And look, again, I don't really want to harp too much on this, okay? My opinion, he did not kill himself. My opinion, something else happened there. In my opinion, if you guys watch this episode, if you guys watch me enough, watch this show, know about me and what I think about it and everything. Again, by the way, a lot of you guys have been asking me about what my opinion was. I was just waiting for, to do the video so I can give you my opinion correct, But anyway, to all of you. But the reality is that, look, Bourdain, look, first of all, let's just talk about, let me just talk about my opinion, then I'll talk a little positive about him, okay? Honestly, what I think happened is that he voiced his opinion, voices like a lot of us, okay? Really voiced his opinion, and maybe he was about to voice his opinion about something else. Maybe he already did. I don't know. Something happened there, okay? And they suicided him, as Eddie Bravo likes to say. They suicided him, okay?
Look at Chris Cornell. Him and his wife had a foundation. Him and Chester were best friends. The conspiracy theory, I don't know if it's true, but they found out some shit. They found out some shit.
Let's be respectful.
No.
We don't know.
I don't know. I'm not naming any names. But you got to look into it.
Okay. But this guy just died, man. I just don't think this is shit to speculate on.
That's why you should speculate it when you find out the connection and the way they died. They made it. Chris Cornell had 9 broken ribs and a gash in the back of his head when he hung him. Yes. And they said the official story is from the CPR. The CPR, he was already dead when they got there, and they break 9 ribs doing CPR, and there's a gash behind his head.
The gash behind his head when they cut him loose and he bangs his head off the ground?
And he's hanging off like one of those exercise rubber bands.
So you think someone killed him?
When you look at the evidence, you're like, holy shit, he looked like he was murdered. And then Chester, right before, Chester dies the same way. The exact same way.
Dude, let's not do this, man.
No.
I don't want to even do this. I don't even want to do this.
Okay, all right. Okay. I'm just looking into it because I love Chester. I love Chester. I love Lincoln Park. Who got you into Lincoln Park? I got you into Lincoln Park.
I understand. I don't want to talk about conspiracy theories involved in this guy's death, especially when he just died. It just seems so disrespectful.
No, he's one of my favorite singers of all time.
I understand, but if he really did just kill himself, it seems so disrespectful to speculate that he was murdered because of some conspiracy theory. I don't know what the case is, but I don't even want to talk about it.
All right, all right.
But do you know what I'm saying?
You know what? I've said enough. I don't need to say no more. I don't want to get into trouble, but I'm just...
Okay.
I'm not trying to put anybody in jail. I love Lincoln Park. I love Chester. I love Chris Cornell. Are you kidding?
I understand
Soundgarden?
I understand.
So I want to know. I just
feel like you should really know what the fuck you're talking about when you talk about people.
We were just talking about suicides. We were just talking about how people get suicided. We were just talking about the Haiti thing.
That's what that is,
when you look at what they were into that. They were into fighting that.
Okay.
And when you look at exactly how,
also severely depressed. There was also a lot of psychological shit going on.
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know why people kill themselves. Period. You know, I don't know why.
But wouldn't you want to know
But
if there
they
was
do,
some
right?
serious? There was some fishy
maybe
shit.
I'll look into it.
There's some
maybe I
fishy
won't
shit.
talk about it until whatever the fuck reality has been.
That's not
brought
that.
to
We
the
were talking
surface.
about
That's-
trillions
but that's
being missing.
silly.
We're talking about all these crazy suicides. We're talking about all that, and then this is insane. This
I
this
just
goes
feel
right
like the
with
dude
whatever we're
just
talking.
died.
This is when you should bring it up, not
I
later
don't
when
know,
everyone
but
forgets
I
about
don't
it.
know any facts.
Yeah.
So when you're bringing it
I'm
up
just
like
telling
this,
you.
it sounds crazy.
Okay. Okay. All right. I get it. I get it. He was probably he probably did it himself.
He could have very well easily have done it himself. And the whole thing is just connecting him to some conspiracy without like a deep
Because I care
understanding.
about him. Because I care about
without
him.
a deep understanding of the
I
actual
care about
facts.
him. I care about him. You don't know how
I
much. You don't know how
understand you
much.
do. I
You
believe
don't know how
you.
deep my understanding is.
I believe you.
Dude, you don't know how deep my understanding is. You have no
Well,
idea.
I would assume that you
I
weren't
didn't just
there
make
when it
this up.
happened.
No, but I've looked into it.
Well, I'd assume you don't know who was trying to kill him. I assume you weren't there. I'd assume that you don't know it as a fact.
I would
Otherwise, you'd be
assume you
going
would
to the
trust me that I
police.
looked into it, and you
I'm
would.
sure
You would.
I'm sure you have, man. I'm sure you have. It just me personally.
Okay.
I feel very sensitive
All right.
about that stuff.
I get.
Just-
No, I get it. I totally get it. Let's change the subject.
Okay.
Let's get into the UFC.
Okay.
Damian.
Because I've known about Bourdain before he was anything famous. Okay, when he first wrote the book, immediately I was already a fan. Remember, I was a cook, a humble cook back then, and so when he wrote that book, he wasn't even on TV yet. So he was. You know, that book, Kitchen Confidential, I'm gonna put a picture here, okay? You know, that was a humongous inspiration for me and a lot of people. And then when he started doing his show, you know, No Reservations, but again, the iterations before that, the actual No Reservations, afterwards, you know, everything from the Food Network to the Travel Channel to CNN, everything, the whole process. Again, it's a lot of what he did inspired me to do what I do now. Again, I was just a humble cook, like a lot of us in the industry, thinking that I'm never going to be able to get out of this kitchen. Having this love for life, this intelligence, all this other stuff, and, you know, relegated to just the position that I was at, where I was just a soldier at best. And by watching him, and then, you know, subsequently other chefs, you know, followed in his footsteps, you know, like Mario Batali and so on. You know, they're humongous inspirations for me, because not only were they able to bust out of the cage of the kitchen, but they were able to create something very new for all of us, a new medium, especially Bourdain. Bourdain really just shattered, you know, everything that we know of today about, you know, travel, again, travel shows, you know, going out and then experiencing different cultures, food, lives. Everything. So many of us have a lot to give thanks for this guy.
On April 17th, 1975, the Khmer Rouge rolled their tanks in Phnom Penh. It was a day that brought an end to years of bloody civil war. It was also a day that ushered in a period of terror, madness, and mayhem on an unimaginable scale.
3 years, 8 months, 29 days.
And they managed to kill how many people in that time?
Over 1.7 million.
1.7 million.
Led by French-educated Pol Pot, who referred to himself as Brother Number One, they set out to create an ultra-Marxist agrarian wonderland. But first, the past would have to be erased. 2,000 years of Cambodian culture and history came to an immediate end. It was declared Year Zero, and everything that came before it was to be erased from existence. Literally overnight, entire cities were emptied. Their inhabitants marched off to the countryside. Slave labor forced to farm the land as a means of realizing Pol Pot's agrarian utopia. Money was abolished, books were burned, families purposely broken apart. Teachers, merchants, doctors, and almost the entire intellectual elite of the country were murdered. The scale of killing was so immense that whole areas, later known as killing fields in and around Phnom Penh, were used to dispose of the bodies. In a blink of an eye, an entire way of life over.
Completely eradicated now?
there are scars everywhere. There are signs of the Khmer Rouge everywhere. People talk about the Khmer Rouge everywhere. Everywhere you talk. The top leaders live in total denial that it was not them who did it.
When in 1979 the neighboring Vietnamese overthrew the Khmer Rouge, sending Pol Pot and his buddies into the jungle, it may have saved the country, but the troubles hardly ended. Simply put, some of the same bastards from the old days are in positions of power today.
If you guys know anything about him, like, especially again, me, like, I really, we know him very well in the sense of, like, I think I know him. I don't know him. I don't know him at all. But if he was really in the suicide, realm, or if he would have, even been contemplating that, like, he would have already done that a very long time ago. If you read Kitchen Confidential, or you read his actual memoirs, his life, about him, know what he's doing today, what his life is right now in comparison to what it was, there's no way in hell, there's no way in motherfucking hell that that guy committed suicide, let alone hanging. I mean, seriously, okay? That's like, again, like hearing that, knock on wood, but Joe Rogan, committed suicide. Like, sure, some dumbasses out there would believe it, but anyone that's a fan, a hardcore fan, or just a fan, will 100% be in 1000% denial. There's no way that motherfucker committed suicide. There's just no way. So same thing with Bourdain. Bourdain right now, if you look at where his life is, like, he has made a complete transformation, just like me, and there's a lot of us like him, but, the sense that he had a really unhealthy lifestyle, whether it was drugs and food and medicine and everything, and drugs. And he has made a complete transformation now where, again, he does Taekwondo, he got married, he has a child, he's extremely healthy now, not doing any drugs. And I'm not talking about, the drugs, like the drugs that are okay. I'm talking about, like actual pharmaceutical bullshit drugs, okay? Like, they had him on Lipitor, they had him on all this other fucking shit. And when in reality, all he had to do was, all he did was change his diet, start exercising, and he from his own account, is in the best shape of his life, and was in the best shape of his life, and feeling the best he had ever felt. Again, like I am, and a lot of us that have made this transformation away from the poison. So when I heard this morning, I was just like, no way. And I still don't believe it. I still don't anything. And, there's a lot of people out there that, believing the story, but a lot of motherfuckers out there are not believing it. And the way that he passed away, that he was discovered by Eric Repair. Sorry, I know I butchered his last name, but come on, I know that guy very well as well. That's like his best friend, and he was there in France with him doing whatever the fuck he was doing. There's no way, nothing makes any fucking sense.
Welcome to our cover shoot for Hamptons Magazine. Do I get to keep this shirt? Can I keep the watch? Funny if people start pulling off that. That would be me, actually. Oh, I love that place.
Just like a lot of suicides recently, a lot of deaths, whether it was Prince or Tom Petty or this or that, a lot of whatever. Sure, some of them might have died of old age or this or that, but just in the case of Prince, I'll leave it, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. In the case of Prince, I don't think so. Michael Jackson, I don't think so. I'll leave it there. So that's my 2 cents. My 2 cents. It took a long ass fucking time on Bourdain. So you know what? I think I'm just gonna cut it short here because this is just my opinion on Bourdain and what happened with Bourdain. And I'm gonna upload this separately. Okay, this is just my thank you letter to Bourdain, and Seriously, if it wasn't for you, I would never have been doing what I'm doing now. Sure, I talk about Casey, sure, Casey Neistat, or Gary Vee, or all these other motherfuckers, but the reality is that if it wasn't for Anthony Bourdain, if it wasn't for his show, his program, his everything, there would be no way there would be any Jose Ortega, and there probably wouldn't be a lot of people doing a lot of creative stuff out there right now. And it's a humongous loss, all right, right now to just the whole creative community, okay? Like not just, you know, the culinary community, not just, I mean, just the community as a whole. You know, whether it's a free thinking community, whether it's the, you know, Taekwondo community, whether it's the chef community, the artistic community, it doesn't matter.
I just want to say I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk about writing. It's something I get to do all too rarely. Most of the time in front of an audience, I'm asked, you know, what's the grossest thing you ever ate? And that's about the extent of it. Yeah, I write. I started writing at age 44 after 28 years spent standing in kitchens.
We have suffered a great loss today. And he and his family should all be in our thoughts. And again, this is a really weird video for me because I never do these kind of things. I never talk about this kind of shit. To me, someone dies, they pass away, boom, whatever. But this really struck me because, yeah. You know, a friend of mine was telling me, he's like, hey, why? Are you afraid? Are you afraid that, you know, that could also be you? And look, not really. I'm not, okay? I'm not, okay? This is why I am who I am, and I speak my mind and all that stuff. And same thing, some people were talking about, like, oh, he might have had a skeleton in his closet that he didn't want exposed. But again, if you know him and know how he is and who he is, there's no way as well. You know what I mean? He's very open and has everything out there. So he would never do anything like this. It's too cowardly of him. And again, I come from the same world, okay, and been through the same pits. And again, you know, this why, you know, if he hadn't done it before when he was at the worst of his worst, why would he do it now? Why would he do it now? All right, just like me or anyone else. So like, oh, by the way, you know, just like Alex Jones was saying in a post earlier today, I'm saying this to you guys. I will never commit suicide, ever. So if that ever happens, or you ever hear that, or you ever whatever, by the way, I would never commit suicide. I never committed suicide, and that never will happen, okay? So it's obviously something else that happened. And, you know, it's so crazy, and it's such a shame that nowadays we have to, like, say something like this and bring something up like this, you know, because it's again, see, I could fucking disappear tomorrow and suicide, and that's it. Nobody will know nobody will know any better. And the people defending me will be the crazy fucking people thinking, no, whatever, you know, blah, blah, blah. So if this is my suicide prevention hotline video, whatever the fuck you want to call it, because honestly, yeah, man, this is way too fucking fishy, and none of this makes any fucking sense. And yeah, I know I've said a lot and I talked a lot about this one particular subject, but it really does mean a lot, and it hurt a lot, and this really fucking sucks. And I know I'll get through it, and I'll be fine. You know what I mean? It's been really fucking amazing. You know, day, last night, everything's been amazing as a whole, and yeah, it just sucks about this guy, all right? But the way I'm looking at it is that, you know, as he passed away to a better place, he has paved the way for many people to do what they have always wanted to do, and again, and for many others to follow in his footsteps. So, you know, to me, I'm looking at this as more like, wow, you know, I really got to step it up a notch. I really got to take it to the next level. And again, just like when I was doing the video yesterday with the water, or doing, you know, things like that, like, you know, I really want to do a lot more things like that, because, you know, that is what I want to do. Just like when he did, and we watched his show, and he was just doing what he wanted to do. Okay? And the same thing goes for all you guys, all right? Just do what you want to do, all right? Trust me, all right? You have no idea the impact you're making on the lives of so many others, all right? By just being you. All right, guys. Thanks again. I love you guys. Please, again, if you ever hear about me suiciding myself, contact Eddie Bravo. If you guys don't know who Eddie Bravo is, I'm gonna see if I can put a couple clips, all right? But yeah, man, you know, or Alex Jones, any one of these guys, okay, and they'll put you in contact with the But yeah, man, I gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. You gotta like smile. You gotta something. You gotta laugh in the face of this, sir, because it sucks. All right, guys. Thanks again. Love you guys. I'll see you guys mañana, or most likely next episode, because this is a double. I'm about to record the real episode. I just had to put this out there. All right, guys. All right. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Please continue the patronage. Please fucking continue spreading the word, and let's just keep doing this, okay? The roller coaster has just begun. All right. Later.
But there are a few times in your life when you know you're about to have a great time, you're about to have a great meal, and you just give yourself over completely to the experience. And that's what I'm about to do at the fearsome, the terrifying, the awesome Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
Eating lots of sugar this morning. Yes, sir. Good. Are we seeing you Monday? On 11, table 6.
Gordon Ramsay is considered to be the best chef in England. End of story.
That's fine.
He's operating at a pitch and at a level that requires nothing but excellence.
Nice.
Famously abrasive and brilliantly talented.
Stop. Big, dirty, greased paw mark on there. Can you see that? De Beurre, Ambala.
He's not a name brand. He's a hands-on chef.
One consommé, one ham hock at the same time. I'm going to do it with you, okay?
There are moments when you know you're about to get a really good meal. This is one of them.
Come on, let's get...
Gordon begins the meal with a ham hock terrine on top of celeriac, or celery root. To complement the terrine, a chilled consommé with caviar.
Ah, thank you. It's what they call an amuse-go. Sort of an amusement for the mouth. Something to wake you up for the meal. Oh, that's lovely. Superb. It's sharp, acidic. Often the thing that will follow is a little more subtle.
It's a pain in the ass to make a great consommé, but Gordon's done it. The caviar only makes it that much better.
Oh, there they are. Look at that. Little fish eggs floating around in there. Oh, yeah, baby. Really, really, really extraordinary.